That Virginia gerrymander, I've never seen anything like it. You know, I grew up in the Midwest, and everyone was aware of what the Illinois congressional maps look like. This is like somehow worse. It was egregious. It seems like it was a violation of people's, civil liberties almost, right? To have people west of the Shenandoah represented by the lobbyists and NGOs in Alexandria. Crazy.
Well, Denny, I know not all your listeners focus on Virginia as much as I do, but first of all, Virginia has fair maps, and we had a constitutional amendment, that passed in 2020 to depoliticize the map drawing business. And I didn't love the maps that were drawn. It turned out to be 6 Democrats and 5 Republicans, and there's some things about them that I would change. But at the end of the day, they're kind of fair. And they wanted to come in and override the entire constitutional process, literally ignore it, and try to turn it into a 10-1 state, and created these crazy districts where literally they take Fairfax County and the rest of Northern Virginia and infuse it on the rest of the state with these long tentacles. And listen, thank the Lord that our state Supreme Court did exactly what they should have done. And I think they should have done it much earlier, which is declare it wholly unconstitutional. And my big observation is that Abigail Spanberger and Democrat leadership knew they were violating the Constitution. They knew it. And in fact, I think if you put them under oath and force them to really answer it, they would say, yes, we knew that we were violating the Constitution. We thought we could get away with it. And then I asked the question, well, wait a minute, you put your hand on the Holy Bible and you swore to support the Constitution of the United States of America and the Commonwealth of Virginia, and then you knowingly violated it. And I think that is absolutely cause for literally almost a recount and a revote of the original election, because I think they have disqualified themselves to serve as leaders in Virginia simply because they promised they would do one thing and they did 100% the opposite, but they did it and knowingly violated the Commonwealth of Virginia's Constitution.
I mean, can you actually recall a governor if they're violating the Constitution in such an egregious manner?
Well, the short answer is it's really, 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 really hard. But the longer answer is Virginia is the only state in America that gives governors 1 term. And by the way, when I was governor, I knew that I was going to serve for 4 years, and we were going to get as much as we possibly could get done in 4 years as any governor in the history of the Commonwealth of Virginia. And I'm proud to say I think we did. But there's going to be another election that's going to roll around here in 3 years in order to address what I think has been a pattern of deception. And by the way, a pattern of enabling policy that is really dragging Virginia back from the leadership position that we had it in. So, of course, the ultimate accountability is to voters, the ultimate accountability. And that's what I believe America was built on. Listen, I'm often criticized because I say, well, America was built in Virginia. And you listen, we had George Washington and Thomas Jefferson and Madison and Monroe and Patrick Henry. And these extraordinary men stood up and said, hey, this is a government that's of the people. And in fact, the line right after, the most famous line, I think, written in the Western Hemisphere, we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal and that they're endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights, and among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. But right after that is a critically important line, that these just powers are taken up by governments by the authority of the people, by the people. Not by a dictator and not by other government, but by the people. And this is the ultimate accountability, which is we got to get out and vote. And this is why, getting back to the conversation around midterms, listen, we got to stand up as Americans. And yes, there's a Republican and a Democrat on every one of these ballots. But as Americans, we got to stand up and push this socialist agenda away as fast as we possibly can. Otherwise, I'm telling you, everything that we hold dear will be under assault. And that's why I call on not just Republicans, but independents and a lot of Democrats, stand up for America and go vote for common sense, and let's reject crazy.